You're listening to 91.3 FM, WCW in Worcester, Massachusetts, the Dr.Chris Radio of Horror program. And tonight on the Radio of Horror program, we have on the show with us the model actress Morrigan Thompson on the show. Thank you for calling on the show with us.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. This is also exciting. This is my first radio show, actually.
Oh, fantastic. And you're just hot off of being a part of a Scream Queen contest that was up in Canada, correct?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I actually, for starters, have not been in this business very long. I'm actually fairly new. Um, so I didn't quite expect to get a message from a indie, horror group festival to be a part of one of their contests. But I woke up one morning to a message from Northern Frights, and they were like, "We would love to have you as a part of this contest that we have going on for indie actresses. Kind of helps get new girls out there, get their name out there, get some movies out there, give the directors some publicity and stuff like that. It's really just good for everyone, honestly." So I applied. I sent in an audition, which was just an email with some images, some headshots, some stats, and stuff like that. And they accepted me. And I worked really hard at getting to the top 10. I posted a lot, did a lot of unsolicited tagging. Sorry, guys. And then I got into the top 10, and I fought really, really hard for that crown, but Jen got it, and she deserves it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That woman is a phenomenal, she's a goddess, honestly.
Yeah, you can hear more about Jen and her and who she is if you go to the Radio Horror YouTube page to check that out.
Awesome. I think I actually listened to that because you just did an interview with her. Yeah, I did listen to that.
Yeah, and it's currently up on the Radio Horror YouTube page currently.
Awesome. Got to check that out, guys.
The Northern Frights Festival was the name of the competition, right?
And it is the Scream Queen contest.
Where did you get your start in wanting to become a model and actress in the gothic and macabre type of setting?
Pretty much from when I was born, honestly. And I know that sounds really, really cheesy, but I grew up with my dad really getting into all this stuff. And I mean my mom too, but my dad was really my main influence. And he was always watching, these underground horror films or the latest horror film that had come out. And I wasn't really supposed to watch them, but I watched them anyway. And then he caught me watching this one horror movie, and I think it was called The Death of Eve and Stone. And it was so brutal. And I was like 8 years old sitting here watching this horror movie. And my dad was like, "All right, I'm going to let you start watching these. But if you start complaining about nightmares, I'm cutting you off." So from then on, I was watching all these horror movies. My favorite horror movie is The Evil Dead. And I look up to a lot of campy actresses like the woman that played Linda and the woman that played, I can't remember her name, in Army of Darkness. I always thought that she was the most beautiful creature. Ugh. And I decided at a young age that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an actress and be a model, but I didn't quite at that time know what I was going to get into. I knew that I just wanted to be a model and be an actress. But as I got older, I was bullied heavily for being different. I did not have the best middle or high school year up until about my senior year. And that kind of pushed me to want to be an actress and a model more, but more so in this genre because this genre is very accepting of the weird girl. The girl that society sees as not pretty or whatever because she chooses to have black hair and bangs or tattoos or she likes horror movies or, be it comic books even or sci-fi stuff, it's a very accepting community, and I wanted to get a start and be a voice for those girls and let them know, you're beautiful and you can be yourself and still do the things that you want to do. Don't let anything hold you back.
What were some of the things you had to deal with in high school growing up that were pretty bad? I mean, you have some pretty naturally good-looking looks.
Thank you so much.
But you were not one of the popular girls, it seems.
No, I actually was not very popular. I went to kind of an uppity high school, so a lot of what people thought was attractive was blonde hair, blue eyes, sporty kind of girls, and I never ever was that. I tried it for a while. I tried to fit in, but it just never really suited me, and I kind of noticed it changing like my moods and stuff when I would try to I tried out for the flag team one year, which if you don't know what that is, it's like drill team. You spun a flag around and did high kicks and stuff to like the band music. And I was in that for about 3 or 4 months, and I could not handle it at all. Oh, it was so bad. And that's when I realized that I would much rather be myself. I got shamed a lot. They called me a devil worshiper. I got called a witch all the time, which ironically, I am a Wiccan, and I was named after a witch. So that's funny.
You should have come to You should have come to high school in Massachusetts, the home of Salem. That probably would never have happened.
Oh yeah, they probably would have thought that was so cool, but I went to Ontario, lived in Ontario too. Oh my goodness.
Ontario, Canada.
No, Ontario, like Ohio.
Oh, so the state of Ohio is not very open-minded and PC.
No, there's some nice little towns in Ohio, like Mansfield. The downtown area is super, super liberal, open-minded people. Very tight community, artistic. There's so many like musicians and actors and painters and stuff, poets. I mean, you name it, we've got it right here. But it's kind of an oasis amongst the not so nice people, if you know what I'm saying.
That's too bad.
I mean, it is Ohio. We've really only got to offer cornfields and the Rust Belt, the factories and stuff. That's about it.
Once you finally got out of high school, then when did you try to start pursuing a lot of this and get past what happened?
Actually, during high school, well, not really. It was the summer before my senior year. I met with Vic from Blood Prison, which is run out of the Mansfield Reformatory. And I got to meet David Greathouse and Becky Ingram, and I fell in love. I fell in love with the idea of the haunted house. I fell in love with the idea of them themselves, the special effects makeup, and just how kind and like warm and open they were. And I told them I wanted to apply. I told them I had a mean scream and I was ready to do anything. And Vic was like, hell yeah. And I got my background check and started working there. And then actually a lot of my doors started opening up after about my first season.
Where do you want to pursue your career more, into modeling or into acting?
Honestly, I'm trying to pursue both equally because they both have equally a big fan base, and I want to touch with everyone, not just the movie nerds. I want to touch with the girls that want to do alternative modeling and goth modeling and stuff like that. I want to have a widespread, would I say portfolio, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, a very wide array of things for my portfolio. Plus, it just makes it look better in the industry.
What has been some of the your best your most favorite photo shoots that you've done that you really want people to pay attention to?
Oh, the one that I will continue to push until I do my next shoot with this man is my Bettie Page shoot with Jason Frazee. I love that shoot. That was my first kind of risque shoot, I guess, and he literally greeted me with a hug, and it was possibly the most amazing and comfortable experience I've had as a model. The photos are amazing. The work he does is amazing. He actually just did a shoot with another model named Trish that was a Hellraiser themed photo shoot, and she was doing the aerial hoop, like, do you know those girls that are up on the hoops in the air and stuff in the circus?
Yeah.
She did that dressed as Pinhead and was like, oh, the photos are phenomenal. He's an amazing, amazing photographer.
What are some of the difficulties that come with being a model in this particular genre of like gothic modeling?
The creeps. Honestly, the creeps. And I've got pretty thick skin. Not a lot really phases me. But there are definitely some creeps. I've definitely had to sit down with my friends and had them write some more nicer messages for photographers that just can't quite get the message that I don't do nude work anymore. I actually did one semi-nude shoot and I got like 3 or 4 photos out of it because I saw the photos of myself topless and I was like, I thought I wanted that, but I don't want that. You know?
Are you talking
So
about the
I
ones with the skull that you have? Because you're nude, topless in that, but covered.
No. Like I literally was topless. You saw my boobs in the photos. And I just was like, I didn't really. Well, that's like good for some girls, and I applaud them. That just wasn't really for me. And I just decided that at that point in time, I was done with actual nude work.
It was
And
just
that
that
the
one.
only.
It was just that one shoot.
Oh, yeah, just that one shoot, I decided it was not for me, which is just a personal preference.
That one particular shoot that I mentioned, the one with the skull in the pictures. Do you want to do more stuff like that?
I actually am doing another shoot with Jason that is going to be similar to that. It's going to be vampire themed. And there's going to be 2 parts. There's going to be a shower scene with a lot of blood. And then there's going to be a wooden coffin out in the middle of some creepy woods with a lot of blood. And there's going to be skulls involved. I'm going to do kind of a homage to Sherry Moon Zombie and House of Thousand Corpses. The scene where she's like licking the skull and stuff, it's like a quick flash scene. It's amazing. I'm going to do a homage to that with this photo shoot. I'm so excited for that.
You'll have to keep us surprised about when that comes about.
Oh, of course.
Now, what is a couple of the films that you've worked on? One of them you said it was called American Poltergeist.
Yes. It is American Poltergeist, directed by Eddie. Oh, Eddie's gonna choke me out. Lingel. There we go. Woo! Oh, he's gonna hear that and be so mad. I'm sorry, Eddie. And I played the role of Jamie, which is Bree's sister. It was a phenomenal first film experience. I couldn't have asked for a better cast to work with. The girl that played Bree, Angela Cole, is in a couple of other films that are coming out, and she's a phenomenal actress. Greg Krause, amazing cameraman. Of course, Eddie is phenomenal at what he does, and he actually is, he directed a movie a few years ago called Scarred, which is, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's an amazing B-horror movie. Jonah Candy is by far one of my favorite B-movie, serial killers. He's going to be making a second one, and I'm going to be in it. I'm not sure when it's coming out and all that good stuff, but I do know that I am going to be in Scarred too.
What's the type of film that you would really love to do and a part that you'd really love to take on? And do you want to stick to just independent horror?
I kind of have been wanting to die ever since I got into this.
So you haven't died in any of your films?
No. Well, I died in Robu, but it wasn't as gratuitous as I want. I want a gnarly death scene. Do you know what I mean? Like Saw and Final Destination, I really want to die. Kill me good is what I want.
If the Saw movies are nothing but unique for their deaths, that's pretty much the only good thing you could say about them, having nauseated that entire franchise out into 8 entries.
Yes, that's about the only thing I watched that movie, or that series for, is for the gratuitous, killing. Just some of the traps that they made were just mind-blowing.
Rob Zombie in his films has a lot of very unique and distinguished kills, as well as a lot of other very taboo subject matter that he puts into his films.
Oh, yes. I love Rob Zombie's films.
A lot of really screwed up mind fuck type of torture or rape or some type of torture in general.
Most of his films the only film that I've watched of his that had rape in it was the second Halloween movie, and that was actually a gnarly scene, and it kind of messed the male actor up. I can't remember his name, but I actually loved him and loved all of the stuff that he was in. He was always my favorite kind of, you see him in everything actor. But then I watched that and I was kind of I'm never going to be able to look at you the same again, man.
There was there's also the girl in the psycho ward being rent by the 2 prison orderlies that Michael kills.
Yeah, that's what I was
in the first
talking
one.
about.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of his movies do have just absolute torture, mayhem,
Oh my god.
sexual depravity, whether or not be rape, but just like the absolute just implied notion of something happening or happened. Rob Zombie is not going to care about what line he crosses. It doesn't really matter for the sake of his own film.
His implied stuff is honestly my favorite because I love the more psychological side of things. Like, seeing it really gets under your skin and kind of gives you the creepy crawlies, but the thought of like just the it being implied and then your mind can wander, that's my favorite part of his movies.
In one of your posts that you put onto your personal, your model Facebook page, you want somebody to dress up as a werewolf and toss you around.
I want someone to be a werewolf for a Bettie Page shoot.
But Bettie Page never did anything like that.
It was a painting that was it was Bettie Page inspired. It involved Betty, but it was a bunch of paintings. They were kind of do you remember who I don't think it was Basil. I think it might have been Basil Gogos or whatever. He was he's one of my favorite painters. Rob Zombie did a lot of work with him and stuff.
The guy,
but it kind of
the artist who just died last week.
Yes. My dad and I were pretty sad about that. There were some paintings that were very his style that involved Bettie Page with a very Universal monster style Wolfman. And I saw it and I was like, that needs to be recreated with a real person and a real like person dressed up as a werewolf. So I just got together with some special effects people and we're actually working on it right now.
Have you hit the horror convention circuit for anything?
I did some work with the Midwest Haunters Convention. I did some work there, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, you talked about being involved in certain haunted houses and Frights and stuff.
Yeah, I did some work for High Noon Creations, which is by Heather Henry. She's a phenomenal woman. She's a phenomenal artist. I worked there all 3 days. I think it was a 3-day event. Crawling in and out of a bloodied corpse dressed as a zombie.
Is that the pictures that are online of you crawling out of it?
Yes.
Who were some of the other people involved in that?
There weren't really a whole lot of other people. It was mainly just me, Heather, and her partner, Cornelius. Yes, his name is Cornelius.
Can you talk about like what the setup was to do that?
So basically how I went about crawling out of this thing was we had a giant wooden box with just like the back cut out, and then there was a hole cut out that led through the stomach of the corpse. And it was just big enough for me to get my arms through and then spread them out and then pull my body through. I had to like water myself up and like lube myself up. I put like oil on me and water and all that stuff. And then I just would slide in and out of the body for, I think I did it for like 7 or 8 hours.
Oh my god, that must have been nuts.
It was intense, but I met a lot of amazing people. And actually the big movie that I've been working on so far that's kind of been taking me away from everything and I've been focusing on it a lot, I met the man that is co-directing it at Midwest, and he remembered me from MHC.
Do you think you'd be able to, you would have been able to do something like that if you weren't like 95 pounds soaking wet?
Probably not, really. Cornelius,
that probably helped in particular?
I definitely think that my weight helped a lot. Being small, crawling out of that body was...
Or your lack of weight thereof.
Yeah, my lack of weight.
I wouldn't exactly say 95 pounds is weight.
I am actually 98, okay?
Just put on those 2 more, then you can be like, woo, I'm at 100.
I know. If you catch me on an off day, I'm about 100 pounds. But
don't be one of those...
I work out.
Don't be one of those idiot models that needs to think they keep needing losing weight when there's nothing left to lose and they're just killing them.
No, I'm trying to gain weight. I like to eat. I love to eat. I eat pizza, chicken wings, breadsticks, all the carbs.
If you want to gain weight but still maintain at least a somewhat healthy figure in order to do it, I mean, you can go to a nutrition, but from models that have come on the show and people I've talked to and that they wanted to gain weight for something, it's red meat and potatoes.
Oh, I eat a lot of quinoa and brown rice and
Not,
stuff like
yeah,
that. That helps me put on a lot of weight. Oatmeal is really good for it too.
yeah, not candy, not sugar, not junk food or whatever. I mean, going to getting a hamburger, cheeseburger once in a while is fine, but like really do it up with like really good red meat, and you'll gain the weight.
Oh yeah, I can't actually eat red meat. It hurts my stomach, but
Oh,
I do eat a lot of salmon. That's really good for your skin. It's got a lot of good fat in it.
what about
I eat a lot of
sausage?
fun stuff like that, obviously.
Real quick, just talk about some of the people that you worked with.
Working with Jason was really easy. He's super professional, super kind. His wife Valerie helps him a lot. She's super beautiful, amazing person. I shoot a lot with personal photographers. I have two that prefer not to be named, but they just do stuff for me for free. And they're kind of into it just for fun and stuff. They don't really like to do it professionally. I work with a friend of mine. He's on Instagram. His Instagram name is Bike in the Water. His real name is Gordon. He's like super cool, super awesome guy. Does a lot of urban shoots and stuff. I did a lot of work with him. I actually just worked with a new photographer, Angelus, on a couple of shoots. Those are the ones with me in the leather and stuff. Those were really cool. He works a lot with Gorgeous Girls magazine.
Have you ever thought about branching it out to? There's a magazine called Blood and Gore Girls or something. Am I thinking the right one?
That sounds really cool.
Yeah,
I'll have to
I
look
might
it
have
up.
the name wrong though, but
I just found out a couple hours ago that I'm now a model for Gorgeous Girls magazine, which is a gore and
Hori.
horror. There we go. Oriented magazine. But I mean, I take some pretty hoary photos, so it's pretty hoary oriented too, So whatever. And it's actually really great. I didn't expect for them to message me back and say that I was going to be a part of it because the page has over 60,000 likes, which was jaw-dropping at itself. And they work a lot with the Haunted Hydro, and that's an amazing haunted house if you've never been.
You will definitely have to share the photos with us to see what you're referencing.
Okay, of course.
Where can people find out more about you, or book you for something, or hire you, or are you on Model Mayhem? Do you have an IMDb?
I do not currently have an IMDb. I probably will after American Poltergeist comes out and Roboob. You can find me on Facebook at my modeling page, which is just Morrigan Thompson. I have an Instagram, which is just the Morrigan Thompson. You can email me, bookthemorgan@gmail.com if you want. That's pretty much it.
Cool. Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show with us to talk a bit about your career, Morgan.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully we'll see you in more Scream Queen contests coming up and see your lovely and talented face plastered over many of different gothic photo shoots, magazines, and other things connected to the genre that you want to break into.
Here's to hoping.